Yeah.
Hiya.
What's going on?
Good evening.
Hey, 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 hey.
How are you?
Well, I actually fell asleep. And then Stams was like, are you going, are you going live? I'm like, okay. Woke me up, literally just woke me up. I was like on the bed, listening to something. Next thing I knew, I just fell completely asleep. Shame. Just so knackered. All right, let me add some people. You look nice.
Thank you.
Oh,
Likewise.
there we are.
Okay. Add some people.
Okay, all right then.
Okay. Someone's just joined us. Good evening, everyone.
Blessings and light.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've got a mad headache.
You've had
Believe
that
it or not.
ridiculous.
Huh?
You've had that all day. It's ridiculous.
Like it's all like all week. It's like all week.
Coming like me now. That's great.
Yeah. It's so, but I don't like to do the tablets, the paracetamols, right? So I couldn't deal. I had to take 2 tablets because it was horrible.
Mm-mm.
Hi, Duchess P. Good evening. Thanks for joining too, Real. And just wait for a couple more people to jump on board. So,
Another like
mm?
maybe give them another 30 seconds or something. Another
Yeah,
minute. Because it's when people jump on, the times go so quick that
I know.
people don't really have
I
a
know.
thing.
I mean, it's being recorded anyway, so even if those that don't get to jump on, they can always watch what we've done on YouTube.
Hmm.
So that's the good thing about technology, I guess. Do you know
Hmm.
what I mean? So we've got the IGTV live here,
Yeah.
and then we've got the YouTube as well, and we always share it to people. So that's a good thing. Somebody's just joined. Can you see that, Wes?
Yeah, Annie
Okay.
J 65. Hey, Annie J 65. I know you just joined, but I'm absolutely shattered.
And I've got a headache.
This liberation work's not easy, man. Takes over your whole life. It's not even a joke because it never stops. It never ends.
I mean, I've always been somebody that's just like, when I get knowledge, I impart it. But, kind of like being in this now, I understand what you're saying and what you've said before. It is a lot. And especially when people are challenging you about certain things as well.
Yes.
Um, I think that can be one of the hardest things, and it's quite draining as well. Do you know what I mean?
And because you know what it is, you have a personal affiliation with it when it's liberation work. So it's not like going to work for the man or something like that on the plantation and you just do your thing and that. You have a personal affiliation because it's about
Yeah.
you. It's about your people. It's about stopping things for generations, making a difference. So it's emotionally draining, physically draining. It's
It
that goes with it.
really is.
It's,
So this evening we're discussing revisiting COVID-19 and the effects that it has on the Black community.
mhm.
So we spoke about this before, but we thought it was a good idea to speak about it again, just see, what's going on. Can you
And
read that, Ken?
I says, it's me, your sister, can't connect. Was going to talk to you about self-hatred. Hey, how you doing?
Um,
Fine. Why can't
well,
you connect? Phone the number. What's that number? Um,
oh, the number. I'll put it up here. I'll put it. Okay. Oh no, I can't. If they want to, I can't put it on here. Sorry. They
just
have to.
J5,
Hmm?
Annie J65. The number is for her to call in if she wants to call in, please. Just give it to her before anybody else gets a number.
I'm going to have to jump off it. I don't know how I'm going to do this. It might end it. I'm not sure. So it might pause for a minute, yeah?
You don't have to put it in there, just read it out. Oh, you got the number. Okay, that's fine. But Annie J565, you know it's about the whole impact of the COVID thing. I do want you to talk about self-hatred we have to get you back for that. But today it's about the whole COVID um, 19 thing, and it being with us being disproportionately represented in that. It's talking about credit. Is that number talking about credit?
No,
It shouldn't be.
no. Is that the number that I gave you, right?
Yeah, it
No,
should be because it's an English number, so it shouldn't be talking about credit.
no, not at all.
Because you have to just call it straight. Don't WhatsApp call it or nothing. You should just call it straight. You shouldn't be talking about.
No,
No, I'd have to try and call it from another phone and see what happens.
no way. Not at all.
I don't know why. That is anyway. Just quickly, a few weeks ago, we was talking about COVID-19 and the whole scamdemic thing of coronavirus, and because it came to my head, all these black people are dying, okay? Or we work in the healthcare sector, we flood that. The London transport, all that kind of stuff. And I was thinking, it must have a more devastating effect on us. Not that it discriminates between races, because it doesn't. We know it gets all races. It's a disease, virus, whatever you want to call it. But I just think it's going to get us disproportionately. So we spoke about that about maybe 3 weeks ago. And we said we're going to revisit it today, because I think, Jeanette, that report came to you, someone sent you a report, what we was looking at about 2 weeks ago, isn't it? Where they said the first 3,800 patients that had died of COVID was from black and ethnic minority groups.
Same, yeah.
So we thought we had visited this area even before anything was coming out. But when we got that after we put it out, we just thought we'd ask people, everybody, friends, family, different contacts, what we have, to tell us how it's affected them, or their family members. And a lot of people were saying to us that they've had a lot of family members pass, and they said it's COVID-19. It was Corona they died from, and a lot of family members, and I have a lot of family members that work as nurses and doctors and so forth, and they haven't got any PPE, and I'm talking about black people. And this is why I want to link it to institutionalized racism, because when you feel that you're oppressed in a system, okay, and we all know who's black, that there is such a thing called institutionalized racism. Those who's not experienced it, that's your business, but I know I have, okay, because I come from an education background, and there's institutionalized racism is rife within that. We know it was in the police force, we know it's in the NHS, because the stories what our parents and our grandparents may have told us, even our friends and family members are telling us now. And a lot of my family members who are nurses and doctors have said that within the NHS, they're pushed in the front line. So there's no PPP, but they're putting all the black ones on the COVID, after COVID patients. They're not putting the white nurses and doctors there. They're the ones that's in the front line for that. You understand? Most of them are family and friends as well. A lot of them work on the buses, London Transport, TfL, and they're saying the same thing. That not that everybody does their duty, of course, but they said there's no, they don't have no PP equipment. They have to walk and spray their buses themselves. They might be given a little hand sanitizer. and most of the cleaners in the hospital and the doctors and so, sorry, hospital and London Transport are from ethnic minority groups, so they're frontline at risk. There's even one bus driver that I know that works for TfL that has stated to me that when they're going to not pick up their bus, but when they're going to the base or from the base, I don't know how it goes, they put them in an Uber or a cab or something, and it's four or five of them in a cab.
Yeah. I heard that as well.
Distancing. So I'm thinking this is ludicrous. And when you think of bus drivers dying as well and getting COVID and their families doing without them, it seems like we're more at risk than anybody else. You know, it's to me, I don't understand it. Well, I do understand it because I think there's a lot of socio-economic factors. And when we spoke about this the last time, we was talking about many reasons in terms of even when we pass, a family member passes, we have something called a 9 nights, which is very spiritual to us. When we can't have the 9 nights anymore, we don't do the 10 and 20 at funerals. We have a big funeral. Everybody's invited. You know the person, even if you don't know the person, you come and you pay your respects. So I think
don't forget as well, we have larger families and we don't send our parents to old people's homes. They live with us.
Yeah, that's another issue. So in terms of that, but I'm just thinking there was I think recently a statistic came out that there was 72% of deaths were to do with COVID-19 or corona was from Black and ethnic minority groups. Okay, but ain't we supposed to be only about 17% of the population or something?
Right.
So it's ludicrous. And I think obviously when it comes to the whole COVID thing, there's social economic factors around it, because like you said, we come from larger families. We have extended families living with us, relatives living with us. Like my mum lives with me. She's an elder, she's 80, 84. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's no place to put them. We're all jam up in the one house. And also when it comes to what's I going to say? I'm so tired, I can't even think.
While you're thinking, go on, if you remember.
I was going to say something about us being extended families. Oh yeah, and even like my family members, like one of my sisters is a nurse. When she comes home, you could be contaminating the whole house and the elder in there, because we do all live and look after each other together. So it's
Absolutely.
just so much socio-economic factors where the government has not put into place how it truly will affect us, what provisions can be made for us. And it's always us as being, second-class citizens in all arenas. The family and friends, the social workers, they're the ones that still have to go out and check families and so forth.
Exactly.
And their white counterparts are just writing reports at home. It's ludicrous. Exactly. Every single area. Teaching assistants, a lot of them that I know are Black. They're the ones that have to go into school and look after the children. A lot of the white staff are at home.
And the forgotten people and I know you mentioned it, but people do forget, are the cleaners, are the porters, those ones that are cleaning up the mess. Those are the ones that are there in the morning and the night, all the way through the day. They're still doing their shifts. Do you know what I mean? And they are right there on the front line. Even the ones that do the buses and everything like that. These are the forgotten, let's call them heroes, just like they want to clap for the NHS. These are the forgotten people. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I just quickly want to read something that was in The Guardian 9 days ago. So ethnic minorities are at greater risk because social and economic disparities lead to poor outcomes in health. Amar Khan is director of the Race Equality think tank and the Rummidme Trust. So he wrote, racism is a matter of life and death. Even before the coronavirus pandemic, racial inequalities in health, education, housing, and employment have slapped the lives of BAME groups from cradle to grave. The pandemic is bringing the harsh realities of these long-standing inequalities into sharp focus, making it clear why race should be viewed as a social determinant of health. In this context, it is very welcome that the government has agreed to a review into why ethnic minorities are at great risk of COVID-19. Though they have yet to confirm the terms of membership of that review. The patterns we're seeing a disproportionately high number of BAME deaths from coronavirus are not random, but instead track existing social determinants of health. In employment terms, ethnic minorities in Britain are already more likely to work in insecure, low-paid work and more likely to be unemployed. In housing, they represent more than half of all overcrowded households, are less likely to own their own home, and have up to 11 times less green space to access. In other words, their employment and housing circumstances mean they are more likely to be in contact with more people and so are at more risk of getting COVID-19, which is what we've just spoken about.
True, because as well, one bit that's missing out there is that we come from more socially deprived areas. Deprived areas.
I think people get it.
We come from those environments, so Annie J65 says Black people are on the front line. They're exposed to viruses, no protection, no recognition, no acknowledgement of the commitment they make. And that's so true, Annie J5, because even when I go to the doctors or the hospital, no matter where it is, I'm always seeing predominantly Black nurses, Black consultants. I really
exactly
live in a Black area, okay? All these so-called Black area, and yet still, when they're clapping for the NHS and all that, I don't see these Black people there. It's like they're invisible workers. Where it does the image is what they portray, and it goes back to the same racism. It's never projecting how it is. It's predominantly white. You don't see the Black people that's working on the front line day in, day out and doing more hours to make ends meet. We don't see anything like that. It's always the same ones with the white face and the pale with that white hair. I think they call it blonde. I'm not sure. That kind of look. It's never our people that's the frontliners, and we know they're the ones that they're putting on the COVID wards. And another thing, we're frightened to speak up. Institutionalized racism has us so dumbfounded that we feel that if we talk, we're going to lose our job. It was the same thing in education, where I was speak about the injustices or the exclusions of Black children, Black boys in particular, etc. The other Black teachers, one or two that worked in the schools, was always too frightened to speak up about it, when we know things are not, there was a lack of equality of opportunity, blatant institutionalized racism, and they was always too scared to speak up. And I think that's the same thing when it comes to doctors and nurses in the hospitals, because when I say to my family members, but don't you say anything? Oh no, I can't. So that whole inflex, because of the institutionalized racism, does not allow them to speak up. And it's terrible.
I do think as well, a lot of them are still sleeping, even though they're in it and they're in the thick of it. I do think that they're believing all the hype as well. They believe in exactly like what they're being told is what they're being told and going along with it. Do you know? I think like a lot of them, there's been a lot of gagging orders as well, where some people want to step forward and say exactly what's going on. Do you know what I mean? But within our own community, we can blatantly see, I mean, we had president of the Sickle Cell Cause Foundation on recently speaking about for so long the fight for sickle cell, as Samantha Greaves, her name is, and for so long speaking about sickle cell and the support that they need. So now why all of a sudden that coronavirus is coming along, that now the NHS services and everything like that want to be contacting them, because they're saying that they're at high risk, but they never paid them any kind of attention before. So it's almost like, and we've seen a lot of information where a lot of Black people are now saying that it's either one or the other. Bring your dad into hospital because his blood pressure's high, but when he's in there now, they want to put him into the suspected corona ward. He's not gone in there for that. Has he got corona? No. So why are you putting him? Because that's what they've been told to do. So really, we have to question, are our people dying of corona, or are they just killing us off?
Or
Because
going in there for underlying illnesses, and I'm not taking away that we don't have underlying illnesses. We know we have attention in this country. We know we have diabetes. These are some of the things that we suffer from: sickle cell, anemia, etc., etc. But what I'm saying is, I think it's more socio-economic, and I do believe it's got a lot to do with racism, because a lot of these doctors and nurses that's catching it and dying, they didn't have any underlying illnesses, but they're pushed in the front line without PPEs, even the bus drivers.
well, don't forget, a lot of these NHS staff now are actually being given the vaccine. So how do we know that this vaccine, common sense will tell us that the vaccine is probably no good anyway. Do you know what I mean? So we don't right now, we don't actually know what is actually going on, because I saw something today where this Filipino on the news, this Filipino man passed away, and his family's in the Philippines, and his friend was like really upset, but she was saying, the brother was saying, the sad thing about it is, under the COVID-19 law, he stated, my brother's body is not even going to be sent back. He's going to be cremated.
Well, this is what I was going to ask, if anyone knows, because I don't know. I don't want to speak what I don't really know, in the sense of, we did speak about this 3 weeks ago. We're trying to find, are bodies being cremated, or can people be buried now? Because if you remember, I was saying, the Rastafari religion do not believe in burials, because
cremations,
fire for the devil, you understand, is not for the righteous. So what kind of, that whole Rasta community, what kind of impact would it have there, that they, something what they totally disbelieve in, they have to go and get done, like a cremation? So all of these things we've spoken about, and these are some of the issues what people were bringing to us for weeks now, from the first isolation thing came about, and was hearing about people dying left, right and centre. Annie J65 says, when they started supporting the NHS workers, no one black, there's not one black face on the billboards. Exactly. I didn't see any of how I see the NHS and know the NHS to be. Annie J65 also said, but featuring heavily in the pictures of those that have died within the NHS. Exactly. This is to show the wider population that they are more prone to contracting the virus. But are we more prone to contracting the virus?
And the thing is, I don't actually think we are.
Well, I think we are, if we're going to look at it from a social economic perspective. To do with
in terms of what they told us in how you can catch this disease, but in terms of exactly what is going on, I don't think we are. I mean, obviously, like, it's going to get deep, because for me, it's just it's really broad, because they know exactly what the situation is. They know the stats. They know that black families live together. They know we're more social. They know we're kind of like in our own, if they would want to call it rebellious, but they know that the foods, they know how we do things in our community. They know we like to bury our people. They know all of this. So they know that we've got larger families, we live together, you know, obviously because of economics and things, social economics and things like that, and demographics. Some of us are living in one beds, and there's 3 people living in a 1 bed, or 5 people living in a 2 bed, or whatever. And even if you've got a big house, you've probably got still a huge family. So if that is the case, then you are going to be more prone to catch it if you're telling everybody to stay inside. Do you see what I mean? And then if you've got people living in social housing, like apartments, and at first you were telling everybody, don't go out, don't go out. You're scaremongering people and telling these people, don't go out. So even now when they say, but you can go out for 1 hour of fresh air, what do? So these people are scared. They're not going to go out. Now they're inside. They're contagious. One person's asymptomatic. The other person's not. The other person's got underlying issues. In the interim, everybody was like, oh my God, shit, I've got a sneeze. Let me go to the hospital. They go in there. Oh my God, you got asthma. Let us do the blah, blah, blah. That person's dead. So they already know what they were doing. They already know that they wanted to kill us off, as far as I'm concerned. And this was all one big part of their big plan. That's how I see it.
with everyone living in the house and they're overcrowded. Remember, some of these people are TFL workers and are working in the healthcare system.
Right.
They're working on these COVID wards. Some of them are cleaning them. Some of them are nurses. Some of them are doctors. And they're coming back home and they haven't even got the proper equipment. It's ludicrous. And they're frightened to speak out and say, listen, this has to change. You're putting us as black people on the front line, on the COVID ward. Our white counterparts are having, and we're going home to our families like this, and we still haven't got to be, but they can't, they're too frightened to speak up because of institutionalized racism.
Yeah. And they're going to lose, and they may lose their jobs.
Well, this is why they're frightened to speak up. Annie J says, but they don't want to tell the real story about them being more exposed. Racism is at the heart of this. It really is.
It really is.
It's a message that is being perpetuated. Exactly. We are then seen and viewed as a modern day leper. Exactly. Racism involves seeing others as inferior. Miss Money Up and Make says it's a lot of mind games they're playing. Warrior Queen says, I don't believe the black skin is more susceptible to contracting the virus. Our numbers are higher due to lack of care in the medical facilities. 100%.
I agree.
If that was the case, look how small the islands are, the Caribbean island. If 2 or 3 people had travelled there and got it, would have spread like wildfire if that was the case.
There you go. There you go.
You understand? So,
and there ain't no one sharing a bed like people in Africa and people in the Caribbean islands. Do you know what I mean? And even when I was growing up, we had bedrooms. We could sleep anywhere we want. But as cousins, we stayed in the same bed. We all slept in the same bed, and we still do that in the Caribbean.
Warrior Queen says, how the world knows that this thing was created in a Chinese lab, yet still happy to persecute black people for it. Exactly. Provoking Thought said they don't want people to go out because they don't want crowd herding to build immune against the virus.
Exactly. I agree with Provoking Thought. I agree.
Five says, walk the streets and open your eyes and see how people are walking around you. Explain that a bit more. It would be good if you can phone in, Annie J. Very, very good, because I don't know what's wrong with the phone. Why you can't phone in? Why it's saying about credit. Doesn't make any sense.
Not, it's not a credit phone.
Yeah.
It's not a credit phone.
Provoking Thought says, as they will lose money on the vaccines too, big insurance scam. And I think maybe this week Friday we're going to have don't miss out on that discussion this week Friday, where we're talking about the paper that's come out and what they're planning to do. Shock, horror. It's already out. It's already in place. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss Friday's live, because that's probably why I fell asleep, because I'm like, I can't believe this. Well, I can believe it, but I'm telling you, shock, horror, jump off a cliff now. Well, don't jump off a cliff literally, but it's really don't jump off a cliff, but I'm saying it's ludicrous. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, and it's in place now. I don't know. I don't know. I think there needs to be definitely a public independent inquiry, and I think people like us need to be involved. That people's always contacting, find out what's going on, and want the real deal of what people's been speaking to us about. Not these people think because they've been doing equal opportunities all the days of their life, or part of some white paper, whatever. They need some real people sometimes that deals with the black paper and can tell exactly what's going on and what people's bringing to us left, right and centre, down to earth, real talk, real stuff. And because we've been bombarded with people contacting us before this is our second show about this. When we first on isolation, people were scared about the impact it would have on the black community.
The thing is, right, Kemet, when we really think about it, right, just think about the first 3 weeks when we started to all hear about coronavirus. No one, I know I was sick, yeah. I was sick for like 2 weeks, and then I had 1 good week, and then I was sick again, right? And I've never been sick like that before, where every 3 days I would feel I was okay in the night. And I said, okay, in the morning I'm going to get up and I'm going to go and see my clients. But by the morning, something else take me. I couldn't go anywhere. But the whole time that I was sick, for like 6 weeks, in a consistently, I couldn't move. I was lethargic. I was so lethargic. Now, since that, myself and other friends, and I've heard other people say, do you know what? I was sick last year, September. I had all the symptoms last year, November. There's been black artists come forward and said they were on a plane, and by the time they got home, they've never felt like this, how they felt before in their life. They said if their parents were to get it, or their grandparents, they were dead. They were saying these things. People were looking back now and looking at, even one of our friends that we spoke to the other evening, he said that he knows he had it. But so we're all saying that we were sick and we were ill, but we're still here to tell a story. And this was like 3 weeks now going into the coronavirus, and still I was hearing, oh yeah, I'm sick, I'm not too well, blah, blah, blah. Everyone had more or less the symptoms. No one was dying. Everybody was still going out. Everybody was still moving, moving, and everyone was fine. All we were hearing is that other people were passing away, right? Not black people. You weren't hearing it. We were waiting for to hear that one black person, and they said, oh, one person in Nigeria caught it, but it turned out to be an Italian man who was traveling, and he went to Nigeria, and they found out that he's got it, if my sources are correct. So the minute now they start saying that, laying down all these rules, we need to stay in our houses. We can't go out. Yeah. And they were saying to people, like, at that time, not even just stay in your house. People didn't have gardens. Some people don't have gardens. Some people can't, do whatever. But they scared people enough to stay in their house for a good 2 weeks and not go nowhere. So what does that say? All we have to do is pick sense out of nonsense. Do you know what I mean?
A lot of us are in social deprived areas, okay, and live in flats and so forth. No outside, and told to stay in, and black people need vitamin D more than anybody else, what you get from sunlight. So it just, or the whole thing just throws me. Miss Money I make, I'm going to get back to you, but I'm just going to deal with Annie J's one, which is the runoff, which she states they're crossing the road to avoid coming near. Am I the only one noticing this? To tell you the truth,
no, I've noticed it.
I don't really go out like that, for one, and number two, I wouldn't notice it because I just cross the road to avoid them.
Me and you, but I've noticed it. But I'm doing it first before they do it to me.
And Warrior Queen says, what, tell us. So tell us, Annie J5. Miss Money Off and Meg says, what's your opinion on Atlanta being reopened soon? I definitely think there's a hidden agenda against black people, especially in America. Now, let me tell you this, Miss Money Off and Meg. About less than an hour ago, I got a phone call, and I didn't recognize the number. It was from Atlanta. Well, I knew it was an Atlanta number, 404. And it's a girl that I haven't spoken to for years, and she fattened me on email, and then realised that somebody else that logged us in still had the number. And no, actually, she found me on the email yesterday, and she said, "Oh, who's this? Is it you?" And she found my email address. I gave her the number. She said, "I've got to call you." She gave me the number, and I'm talking about maybe 8 years I haven't spoken to this girl. And she phoned me about an hour ago. So we're just talking and catching up and whatever. And then I was like, how's things in Atlanta and whatever? And she was saying to me that they've opened up the barbers, the nail shops, okay? The barbers, the nail shops, and some and I said to her, I betcha the barbers and the nail shops are packed, and the black hairdresser. She said,
Yeah.
So imagine, they're not opening up the schools, okay, for service workers, but you're going to open up the nail shop, the black nail shop. I mean, the nail shops where black people go to, and the nail shop. Barbers where we go to, okay, those are open, and we know they're going to do that because they know they've got a soul clock, because they know we're going to be so stupid. To go get them.
Yeah, 100%.
I said to her, I know it's going to be packed in there. She said it is.
Of course it is.
But we
Of course
don't
it is.
nothing apart from superficial, superficial.
Let me get your own words again.
Can't speak sometimes. Superficial things, nails and hair, and it shows how.
Where they going? What am I doing here for them nails? When am I going?
But
Where are they going?
I always say superficialness will be the death of certain people.
They're soon open. They're soon open Gucci and Imani and all them shops there, and they watch all the celebrities start flocking there as well.
But they wouldn't, because they can get them online. They ain't stupid. They don't have to go in
No,
there.
but that's how stupid the black ones are. They want to go and floss in front and show themselves coming out with their bags and everything. That's what they do.
They're getting it online. That's only for cameras.
No, man, you miss it. Nah, it's English people. It's white Caucasian people that buy their things online when it comes to Gucci and stuff like that. Black people are going in the store because they want to floss in front.
If they're trying to floss at a certain time, but now with this COVID thing, they ain't flossing. Like, who they're flossing in front of? Going into the same barbers and
exactly. They're gonna go Gucci, then they're gonna go to the barber. No, they're gonna go to the barbers, get their hair done, and then they're gonna go Gucci, and then they're gonna get their phone out of floss.
If fun and all that smart, because they don't need. Well, I wouldn't even say Gucci, because Gucci's like your little street designer, but
What I'm talking about?
Louis Vuitton. And those high-end Cartier shops and stuff like that, all them people are getting their things online. I'm telling you, they're not that fickle. And that's another thing. Our regular workers, like, who have to, when I say regular, people that work in admin and stuff like that, I don't even know what I was going to say, so let's just pause.
Yeah, but I want to call them regular. When you say regular, I want to call them regular. What do you mean?
I was going to say, when it comes to us, we're not, a lot of us are not even privileged enough to be like, we're working from home, and we look at the cleaners and all that. They can't say they're working from home. They clean the hospital around the teas, like your city slip. That would be like, well, I'm working at home and just putting the counts.
Yeah, exactly.
For my own, we're not that privileged. And to me, nothing has been put into place.
When you say we're not that privileged, you say we shouldn't be that privileged.
No, I'm saying we're not privileged. How many of us, okay, are privileged enough to still be at home in our city slicker apartment?
Right. I get you. Right.
Little deal.
Yeah.
But more of us are out there cleaning their stuff, their buses, cleaning the hospitals, cleaning the buses, cleaning
care homes, looking after the elders.
Yeah, looking after the elders, looking after the children, trying to school the children. It's just not on. Annie J5 said they are she said that, crossing the road. Okay, tell me. Annie J5 says, yeah, I crossed the road too, but I'm just watching the play. Miss Money After Year said, yeah, pack out. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It's ludicrous.
Stupidness.
And people are getting their stimulus money, so they know they'll spend crazy. Deanie's well joined. Moria Queen says they want our money and we are giving them. But not even that. They want us dead and we're giving them the right.
Simple things.
We know that the things still, don't get it twisted. I don't want anyone to be misled. There is such a thing called corona and people are dying from it. There is. And I think there's a stronger strain going and coming back again and again and again. So I would just like to see how many of these people survive this corona that's going out now. That's gone to the hairdressers and the barbers. Miss Money Have to Make says, I honestly don't understand how they're not seeing the clear agenda. Provoking Thought says there must be an agenda to that. I've got to say this though. Don't overstand how they want to keep giving their money to the Chinese. Yeah, I don't know if it is the Chinese people in the nail shops in Atlanta, because I know there's a lot of black nail shops, and I know there's a lot of Vietnamese nail shops. Not unless you're classy.
I mean, just the fact that they're just opening them up anyway speaks volumes.
Yeah,
it speaks volumes. And trust me, that abuse hasn't stopped. It's up until 2 days ago. It's still going on. It is not stopping. This thing is still going on.
Exactly, still giving Chinese thief money, kiss my teeth, provoking thought says, and still they probably gone catch the virus from them. Chinese laugh out loud. Now, we're not stereotyping. Miss Money FMX says, exactly, especially after everything going on. Flexitarian Joan Hayes, Sister Pam, Duchess Royal said, I started to be extra critical where my deliveries are coming from. As long as you're not buying Chinese, it's not where your deliveries are coming from, it's where you're buying from. Sue Truly joined. Hi, Annie J there. Opening these shops. Come on. Can you not see what they're doing? Exactly. And it just shows how fickle these people are.
I mean, when I saw that, I was straight away. I was like,
I didn't even know.
Like, you either think black people are so dumb, seriously, or
But we are, because
yeah, or you're just really taking the frigging piss but it's because they think that we're so dumb because, and this is so this is what I'm talking about, the blatancy of how they can just do us in China. And this is what I'm saying to our people. If we don't do something now, trust me, we are going to be an enslaved race again in the next few years, because they are doing so little to see how stupid we are. They are doing so little to see how much piss they can take with us. And we are just there, just succumbing to the piss. We're just basically lapping it up. Because I don't know else how to put it. Like, it's so sad. Like, can't people see? Can't people see that we're fucking doomed? Excuse my language. I'm so sorry. I'm so passionate. But to say, like, I can just imagine a few dumbass black African American people sitting down in their house when they saw that, oh my God, they're opening up the nail salon and I can get my hair bobbed. Shall we go? Do you know what I mean? Like, I can hear it right now. You know, them all planning to go together, maybe even having a barbecue and like have a little party and all of that, not knowing that these people are trying to kill us off. No, not even trying. They're killing us off. It is sad. They're taking the piss.
Annie J65 says, when they all converge on these shops, they have exposed themselves to the virus. This is what I'm saying, to the virus. And wake up. Miss Money Off of Mix says, just taking the bait. Exactly.
Exactly.
Money Off of Mix. Annie J
Stupidness.
You've learned to do your nails on a YouTube tutorial. No, we're that fickle. We'd rather, and to me, don't do your nails at all.
Thank you, Kevin. I was just about to say that. We do your nails for. You're indoors. Where you going? Who are you trying to impress? Who are you trying to impress? The postman. The postman or the delivery driver, the Uber driver. Who are you trying to impress? Who's coming to your yard? And your man ain't going to the barber shop because he can't go and get no barber. He has to look rough. All of you look rough and ready and get down. What are you doing your nails for?
It's money after me. I honestly think black people in America are the most far removed from reality. I've always said that. 100%. 100%. So far.
Don't even get me started on that. Another story.
This ain't even funny, but you lot crack me up. Or maybe because I'm extremely tired. This Money Alphabet says, like I generally don't understand, common sense really isn't that common. It really isn't that common at all. Annie J says, not just in America, we fall overhead.
Yeah. Yes, Annie J. Because they soon start open up the bloody salon and whatever else, and the stupid people.
All Pac's got to do is open up a hair shop and people go.
Hair shop and watch me go.
Warrior Queen says we really need to embrace our natural beauty. 100%.
Listen, you can't. I've just been spraying up my hair with water. I ain't even got no product. I've been spraying up my hair with water, garlic. I just telling you today, garlic and tea tree oil. That's all I've got. I've been spraying it up and flinging on the hat because I can't. Who's going to them shops there? Listen.
If you don't want to, that's the thing. We really need to. Miss Money Off the Met says, "Pax is up." Is it?
How you know Miss Money Off the Met?
Exactly.
Stay in your yard. Yeah, stay in your yard.
True. But and this time she must have gone packs and buy up. She weave, you know, not really. Anyway,
and the nails.
innit? It's my affirmation. It said loads of these Instagram girls getting weave done too. What do you mean getting weave done to themselves? You mean?
Those are these Instagram girls getting wigs done, weaves done.
The weave ain't gonna look good 6 foot under. That's the weave puffing. Now you can't.
Miss Money Up said people are. She said people are telling her.
Oh, she cracks me up. Get back on track. There really, I think, needs to be a public inquiry into why we're more vulnerable to all the isms and schisms. That's the only way I can put it, of what's going on and why our people are on the front line still and going into the COVID wards, and especially the TfL drivers not getting any PPE equipment and so forth. It's absolutely ludicrous.
And the thing is as well, the PPE.
Sorry?
I was going to say PPE equipment that they have been getting in hospitals. It's not even it isn't even the correct equipment. It's
A lot of them were still using because they have to reuse the stuff because it wasn't.
It's just blood splatter. It's just blood splatter mask. It's stopping the virus from going through it. It's just blood splatter. It's blood splatter mask, blood splatter stuff. It's not proper things. If it was proper things, it would be the space outfit. That's the only thing that's going to stop them from catching it. Why are they dead in?
Miss Money Off of Mix says they have hairdressers coming to their house to do their hair. Do they? Okay.
Oh, what the Instagram ones, innit?
Oh wow.
The Instagram ones. I for them business that.
Crazy. So
look at that barber. Did you hear about the barber, Miss Money Off of Mix? He was doing that. He was still supplying the service, and he said he's going to people's houses to do it. He caught it and dead. And this was a man that served his community, did a lot in his community. So he figured, I'm still going to go out and I'm still going to make people feel good at this time. You're making people feel good and now you're dead.
This is what I'm saying. We can't, sometimes we have to get more serious, you know. We really, really have to.
We don't have to get more. We just have to get serious. We just have to get serious now. This is a wake-up call, Kemet. This is a wake-up call. This is them saying, let's see how much we can take the piss out of black people. Straight up. The elitists of the world. Let's see how we can use them as puppets. Let's see what we can do with them. And they're doing it all over the bloody world. And they said, let's have a little joke. Oh, what should we do then? Let's open up the barber shops and the nail shops and see which one of them goes out first. Let's start in Atlanta. Yeah.
Martha Williams say, hi, my ladies. Hi, my darling. And she said, I have a lot to say, but not on air. There are some people responsible for all of this. I'm making sure that I take my vitamins. Well, I have to get my hair cut done. And she's laughing. Miss Money Off of Met said, real foolish decisions. Annie J says, in social work, the frontline workers are also not protected. Exactly. But it's the black ones. And obviously, not obviously, but many of us have a lot of social workers in our family. So yeah. I can't even speak. Have a lot of social workers in our families because during the, I would say, late 80s, mid 80s, 90s, a lot of black people went into the social care field in terms of becoming qualified social workers and going out there. And even before the pandemic, they would say that where they would have a workload, caseloads of 18, 20 people, their white counterparts might have 7, a caseload of 7. So all of that is institutionalized racism.
Always. Kemet, we've only got 10 minutes to go, right?
Annie J, in social work, I just read that. Annie J said it's the culling season. I don't know what that means. Lamar said, my granddaughter gave me a haircut, I guess that's nice. So see, if you live with your granddaughter, she's gonna hook you up. Trust me.
Exactly. And the nails too. I just want to. We've only got 10 minutes left. Yeah. So
close for today, but please tune in to Friday's live. really, really important. It's going to be imperative that you hear this information. This information is life and death. And I hope when you hear this information, you just think from now on, you've got to get out of this country, okay? It's that rife. But what we might do, we'll actually do a video and talk about it, send it out, and we can discuss it beforehand, because it's something what everyone should know. All right, my people, I am
well, no, before we go, right, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's donated to hashtag Stop the Silence campaign. We're 15 days away, okay, so we're halfway through our campaign, and we've raised over 30% of what we need to present, so we're like 70% away. So in all our topics that we're going to be doing for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing like a campaign. We're going to be building up our campaign, okay? So we're going to be like pushing it for everyone to get involved, to donate and so forth or whatever. So if you haven't donated as yet, please join us on our lives in the next few days, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesdays at 10 p.m, because we're going to invite all of you to pledge online. If you pledged before, it's not a problem. If you want to do £1, just get involved, engage with us. So Kemet, before we come offline, we've got another 9 minutes. I'm going to start the ball rolling, all right? So I'm going to pledge you, Miss Sweetie Holic, yeah, because we've been talking and I know we both said we put on a bit of weight. So I'm pledging you, if you can, huh?
I put on loads, not a bit.
Okay, well, I ain't gonna do you bad. I ain't gonna do you bad. What I'm gonna say is that lose 7 pounds before our campaign is up, which I think it's the 15th of May. So for the next 15 days, huh?
What gets donated to the charity for that?
Right, so I'm pledging if you lose that 7 pounds in the next 15 days, I will pledge, yeah, £1 for each day. So that's 15 pounds, right? Okay. So if you don't do it, then you'll get half of that, £7.50.
Yeah, but how do you know if I've done it or not? Come on, okay. You pledge me to lose that £7 then.
So hold on. So all right. So weigh yourself. So wait on Friday. Weigh yourself. We'll do a weigh-in. Huh? Get some scales. We're gonna do a weigh-in on Friday. So get yourself some scales. Right? Get yourself some scales. £7.
Right, you lot say your pledges. What you're going to pledge if I win? If I lose £7 by when?
By 15 days, when the campaign ends.
Okay, in 15 days. You lot better pledge me on this, right?
Come on.
Chances are you keep your money and all.
£7. You got to lose £7. And if anybody wants to pledge me something, and then my family and my friends want to pledge me, you can do that as well. I'm in for the game. Let's do this. Let's get the donations in.
I'm pledging for the days. Oh, Annie J5 says £20. Okay, thank you.
There you go. All right, we're holding you to that.
Okay, so and I'm pledging you, Shanette, to not eat ice, because Shanette's addicted to ice. Not ice for the next 15 days, and I'm pledging. No. Yeah. No. Yes, and I'm pledging you.
I won't cry.
£20. I'm matching Andy J's. I'm pledging you £20. Not eat ice.
All right. Okay. But if I slip up,
the Most High is your witness, because you know I ain't gonna. When it comes to serious, I'm not even gonna lie anyway. I'm gonna keep it truthfully, because like I live by the truth. Huh? Pounds lost. Okay, thank you, Warrior Queen.
What did Warrior Queen say?
You should pledge me £1 for each £1 lost. Oh my God, how much?
There you go. There you go. Thank you, Warrior Queen. All right, so the pledges are on.
Can't we put it down losing an ounce or something?
No.
I'm not going to lose anything. And please encourage your people to do a pledge with me as well. Yeah. Let's do
so
it.
Anybody that wants to pledge, tell your people if they want to join in. It's a serious matter, but if we can have a little bit of fun while we're doing it, but we don't want to lose focus of the topic of the matter. Okay, yeah. So it is a serious matter.
Just to conclude this topic, what we're asking for a public inquiry into the disproportionate representation of Black people during the whole in terms of deaths and the whole being on the front line thing and not being safe. And we would like whoever's doing that, because we've been given loads of information, to come and get some information for us. And with that, we have to sign off. Please tune into Friday's show. It's imperative that you tune into Friday's show. We'll probably do a video and send it around before then, but it's so important, this information is not to be missed. So I'm going to sign off by saying, I am because we are, and because we are, therefore I am. And it's over. Am I pointing at you? All
right, people, have a good evening. Love you loads. Keep pledging. See you Friday. See you later, Kim.
Oh, I'm weighing on Friday. Bye.
Yeah, don't forget.